What is good, everybody? This is Charles from Team COG, wishing you guys a Merry Christmas today. And what else can I give you guys outside of a Infernoble combo? So today, guys, we're going to showcase you Uppercutter plus Synchron and YuGiOh plus Synchron and show you the different combo lines you can do with these two cards and different iterations. So Synchron works with almost every level 4 in your deck, minus like a handful of them. Even like Synchron plus Turpin is like combo. And stuff like that, etc. There's like certain ones that it doesn't matter, like it doesn't work with, like Synchron plus like Malgus is not combo, but those iterations and every card in the deck is insanely searchable with like Heritage of the Chalice and Durandal and stuff like that. So I prefer this engine over the DBL Star, and the reason I like, some people like have like a common misperception that I've always had the DBL Star engine, and that's not true. I actually have I've always liked it. I just never thought that the engine like was necessary to be successful with the deck. And after losing his old, it kind of, to me, it doesn't seem like it does enough. Like in a like bigger deck, like the Super Heavy Samurai version and stuff like that, like yeah, it does make sense. But I feel like it's one of those engines that is just an extender, not a protector or starter. And it just gets you to Ricardetto at the end of the day. And I feel like that's not what the deck needs. But what the Revolution package does is it allows you to establish a Crystal Wing before you make Angelica, which I think is pretty solid. And it allows you to, like, since Angelica is now the heart and soul of the deck, God rest his old soul, no pun intended, that she needs, so we have to protect her at all costs, protect the princess at all costs. As soon as she resolves, we're in it, and if something happens to her, it's kind of rough. So anyway, without further babbling, we'll go ahead and jump off into the first combo sequence here, and it's going to be Uppercutter plus Revolution Synchron. So you're going to go ahead and start off by normal summoning your Uppercutter. Uppercutter is going to grab you your Battling Boxer Spar. You're then going to just go ahead and special summon out the Spar, and then use your Synchron and your Battling Boxer Uppercutter in hand to go ahead and make Power Tool Dragon. You'll go ahead and use Power Tool Dragon's effect to reveal 3 Noble Arms. I currently am only playing 3 Noble Arms. I'm playing 2 Durandal and 1 Almas, and this is where I will show you what happens, because some of you are going to be like, well, what happens if you get Almas? And I'll show that. So anyway, if you just get Durandal, and then you go ahead and we use the Revolution Synchron, milling a card to go ahead and summon itself, and then you take Power Tool and the Revolution into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. As our 5th summon, go ahead and use Durandal's effect to go ahead and grab us the Infernoble Knight Renaud. You then go ahead and special summon out Renaud, and you grab back the Durandal. It is very important you grab back an equip spell that you've already used so that you're able to trigger your Angelica freely. It's kind of a waste, it seems like, but it's not really a waste. It's just a different way to manage resources. So we go into Angelica, the Princess of the Noble Arms, to go ahead and grab herself Museum. We'll then activate Museum, pay her 12 to go ahead and grab us Almas. Now, in the case that you picked up Almas off of the Power Tool, you just go ahead and grab your second copy of Durandal. So this is her hand. We'll go ahead and fire off Durandal, targeting her. You'll use Angelica's effect to go ahead and send YuGiOh from the deck to the graveyard, banishing herself, and summoning out Infernoble Knight Roland. We then use the YuGiOh's effect to target the Roland, and then we use Museum's effect to move Roland up to join the battle. Effect of YuGiOh to go ahead and Foolish Burial, and you send Gearfried from your deck down to the graveyard. We'll then go ahead and synchro off here into Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles, and then we'll go ahead and just attach Almas here to Charles, linking off Charles into Emperor Charles the Great, which should have been named Charlemagne. I still will never get over Konami ruining that opportunity. But anyway, Chainlink 1, Charles the Great, Chainlink 2, Almas. Almas will add back Immortal Phoenix Gearfried, and then Emperor Charles will equip the Emperor Charles. We'll then use Gearfried's effect to go ahead and banish itself to go ahead and summon out here, and then here we are. This is what we have on our turn. We have a quick effect pop, spell negate, and 2 monster negates. And yeah, that's what just that combo sequence gets us to us. But what makes this important is the fact that we were protected under a 5th summon and protected the Angelica, which is also very important. Yeah, and then, during the end phase, this comes back. You get to equip from the deck an equip spell. You get to use Charles' effect to equip from the graveyard here, and then grab from the deck either Oliver or Malgus to be able to facilitate another draw. So anyway, we're going to back it up real quick, and we're going to show you what happens if you end up getting Almas from the Power Tool. Okay, guys, so you activate Power Tool, you reveal your 2 Durandal and the 1 Almas. You end up getting Almas, and it's not the end of the world here. We'll go ahead and just use Synchron's effect here to go ahead and come it out and make ourselves our Crystal Wing, just so we're protected here. We'll go ahead and use Almas' effect to go ahead and use its ability to destroy itself, to then equip from the deck to the appropriate target, Durandal. We'll then use Durandal to go ahead and grab ourselves Renaud. Now we'll go ahead and special summon out Renaud and use Renaud's effect to grab back right here. It could be either one, it doesn't matter. Whichever one you choose to have. So then you go ahead and activate, you don't activate Durandal, excuse me. So then you go ahead and take these 2 and make our Queen Angelica, or Princess I should say. of the Noble Arms. Angelica's effect will grab you Museum. You go ahead and activate Museum, pay the 12 to go ahead and grab your second copy of Durandal. Now this is where you could have grabbed whatever. You could have grabbed back the Almas, etc. So now we're just going to go ahead and throw away the Durandal, attaching itself here to go ahead and send Ogier to the graveyard. This right will go off here. She will banish and summon out the Roland. We then go ahead and use our Ogier in graveyard to attach, and then we use Ogier's effect to special summon. Now, since we had to use Almas early in the combo, we have no way to get access to our Gearfried. So there's a few ways you can go about this that's not being played currently. If you want to up your Noble Arms card counts, you can play one Joyous. You could technically add Joyous off of this, and then use Joyous to add it back and end on the same board. However, if you don't want to play Joyous because Joyous is not as good as it once was, this is how you do it. So you go ahead and use Ogier's effect to go ahead and send, this time, Roland to the graveyard. And then we go ahead and synchro here into Charles. We'll then go ahead and use Roland's effect to attach itself, and then synchro off here for the Emperor Charles. And then, of course, this will attach. And now we move on to the end phase, and here's what's going to happen. During the end phase, we're going to go ahead and let Angelica return, and then we're going to go ahead and use Roland's effect in the graveyard to grab ourselves Angel Ring. Now, Charles's effect will activate during the end phase to attach the Angel Ring and attach from the deck Malgus, and then you go ahead and use Charles's effect to destroy the Malgus to allow you to get an additional card. So you pretty much started with 2 cards, and you're ending with 2 cards, so you still have technically 5 cards in your hand, and you still end on the same number of negates, but just a little bit more diverse in the sense you end on Charles Pop, a Charles Spell and Trap negate, Crystal Wing Monster effect negate, and a Spell negate on resolution with Angelica's Angel Ring. So that's what happens if you end up getting the Almas during the Power to Reveal. And the same thing happens in the same scenario with the Ogier, except for you send it with Angelica, I believe, but we'll go over that, of course, when we get to the Ogier Revolution line. So let's wrap it up here and go ahead and jump on into that combo sequence. Okay, guys, so here we go, Revolution plus Ogier, and if you guys know, like, we play like so many copies of Ogier, so like this probability should come up quite a few times. So anyway, you start off the combo by normal summoning your Infernoble Ogier. Ogier's effect, you'll go ahead and send Turpin to the graveyard, and then you go ahead and Revolution here into Power Tool Dragon. Power Tool Dragon, of course, you reveal your 3 Infernoble Arms, which will be these 3 right here, and then if you're more likely to get hit Durandal. However, if you do hit Almas, I will showcase you guys what happens if you hit Almas. So we go ahead and grab here. We'll go ahead and use the Revolution Synchron's effect to go ahead and mill the top card of your deck to go ahead and summon itself out. And then we go ahead and go right here into our Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. We then will go ahead and attach Durandal here and use Turpin's effect to special summon itself. Then Durandal's effect to go ahead and destroy itself to let us add our Renault from deck to hand. We'll go ahead and special summon out Renault, use Renault's effect, add back the Durandal, and then it's pretty similar to the Uppercutter line, the way that we just did it. Effect here to go ahead and grab a Self Museum. We'll go ahead and activate the Museum, use Museum to grab Almas, and then we'll go ahead and use the throwaway here to go ahead and, well, actually it's a little bit different. So since we technically started out with Ogier, we don't get the dump here, so we have to use the dump of Angelica to go ahead and send the Immortal Phoenix to the graveyard, and then she will banish herself. This will fall out, and this will summon a Roland. We'll go ahead and use Ogier's effect to attach itself, use the Museum's effect to move it forward. So we don't get the dump because we already used it, and then we'll go ahead and synchro here into Charles, equip the Almas here. We all know the drill, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, add back Gearfried, attach here, banish here to summon out Gearfried, and then in phase, Angelica comes back, and you get to pick up here, plus an Oliver or an Ogier from the deck, or Malgus if you want to get a draw. And this is your end board. So, yep, very similar to the Uppercutter line. Exactly the same thing as Uppercutter line, just different card sequences and stuff like that. The end board is still the same. And it's still kind of crazy, you know, like you're still staring down. 2 cards were put into this, and you're still staring down like 4 disruptions. So you've doubled your terms of interaction by the amount of cards you put into it. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and back it up and showcase what happens when you get the Almas instead. Okay, guys, so you revealed your 3, you got stuck with Almas. So this right here is just going to get us to ending on the same number of disruptions, but with Angel's Ring instead. So you go ahead and go Almas, Almas effect, destroy itself to go ahead and attach. Excuse me, we're jumping the gun here. When you want to do this, protect it. So go ahead and use the Synchron Dragon's effect to mill a card to go ahead and summon itself, and then we make Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And then you can go ahead and use Almas, Almas effect, destroy itself to go ahead and equip Durandal. And then you go ahead and use Turpin's effect to special summon itself from the graveyard, since you control a monster that is equipped with an equipped spell. You guys know what Durandal does. It lets you add a level 5 or lower fire warrior from your deck to your hand. And then we'll go ahead and add Renault. Renault will special summon itself, adding back the Durandal here. Actually, just add back Almas. just keep 2 different here. We go and synchro into the Princess and Noble Arms Angelica. Angelica will, of course, grab us our Museum. We'll then activate Museum, pay 12 to go ahead and grab ourselves another Durandal. Now, we just, either one of these spells, it doesn't matter which one we use. We've used them both. To go ahead and go here, we use her effect now to go ahead and send the Roland from deck to graveyard. She will banish herself. This will fall off. And we go right here. Of course, we'll go ahead and use, always remember that this card, Turpin, is banished. And then we'll go ahead and use Ogier's effect targeting Roland, Museum's effect to move it forward, synchro into Charles, and then we'll go ahead and use Roland's effect to attach here. And the only reason you do this is so you don't have to throw away. You get to rekeep this field spell, or this equip spell here, Chainlink 1, to go ahead and add this back. We move on to the end phase. During the end phase, Angelica gets to come back, and then this is where it's important. You go ahead and you resolve Roland before you resolve Emperor Charles. Roland will let you add any equip spell, so you go and add Angelica's Angel Ring, and then you resolve Charles, letting you equip from graveyard or hand. You equipped Angelica's Angel Ring, and then equip from the deck Malgus or Oliver. However, in the sense, if you end up getting Oliver here, Charles will destroy Oliver, you shuffle back 3, and then you get to draw, which is really good in this sense, in this scenario, because the Malgus draw lets you put back the equip spells, so it means that it lets you put back at least 1 of your equip spells, which means that your museum will be live on the following turn. I'm still, like I said, still trying to figure out the correct ratio that you want to play the Noble Arm cards, because like you don't want to see handfuls of them. That was the issue I was having. I was playing a 6-card equip spell lineup in a previous iteration of the deck list, and it just kept coming up that I was drawing too many of those equip spells. Even if you include like equip spells that aren't Noble Arm cards, like Living Fossil and stuff, it's still, sometimes you still are opening those cards when you'd rather see like disruptions, you know what I mean? So, but this is the combo. This is the Uppercutter and Revolution lines. There is different other ones that you can do. Like I said, Revolution plus Turpin here is also a sequence that you can do. But for the most part, I think this is still pretty crazy. 2 cards, 1 in, 4 disruptions come out. And you can argue and debate on which one is better than the other, because I guess hindsight's 20/20. If you're going into game 3 and you know your opponent's going to be siding in board breakers and you're going first, it's probably better to end up getting the Almus so that you get access to Angelica's Angel Ring. But, that's one thing about the power tool, is since you aren't playing like a total number of 3 of them, it does make the opportunity, like, even though it's like I forget the percentage, you're more than likely to hit Durandal out of your entire, but the chances that you hit Almus, it's still okay. And like I said, there's different options and different routes to go depending on your other hand, because you do have 3 other cards in your hand that you have not used and touched, so it's possible that you can extend further by opening 1 more. If you open a museum, you get to double Charles, and it just goes like further that way. But anyway, this is it for this combo video, guys. Please remember to enjoy the time with your family, take these holidays and just enjoy them. And this is Charles from Team COG signing out.